Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today I have a bunch of new whips, surprisingly. I told myself not to cast on and then I did cast on a bunch of stuff. So that's just me. Yeah, that's me. One thing is from last week though, so that's fun. Yeah, new material. I have some new material. I just think it's like, I've been doing a good job getting rid of my whips. And there have been like things that I've wanted to have on the needles and I'm like, all right, well, I'll cycle through some stuff and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna show you 3 sweaters today. And yeah, so I think that's the only 3 sweaters I have on the needles, so that's good. And one of them is from last week and 2 are new. Yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt called, I've always thought it was called Yume, but I think some people call it Yume. It's by Isabel Kramer. It's just like a lace yoke, simple circular pullover. It also comes, I mean, you can knit long sleeves on it too. I knit it some years ago, like 4 years ago, maybe 3, with long sleeves. And it's yellow. It's my only yellow sweater that I've ever knit. And I liked it, and I had this is knit in Pearl Soho's like cattail silk or something. It's like a 100% mulberry silk. It's like a slubby silk. It's really, it's raw. It's great. It doesn't stretch at all though. So if you really need your, oh, there's some needles moving into the background. If you really need your yarn to stretch, this will not stretch. So it can be a little hard on the hands. Someone like me who knits all the time, I notice this a lot. Some people have less sensitive hands, some people have more sensitive hands, but like wool has a lot of spring, which makes it comfortable to knit with, you know, as opposed to like alpaca or silk or something that has less spring. So yeah, and then the preparation of the wool can also make the hand feel different, and like the staple length of the wool and all that stuff. So, you know, all fun things there. But yeah, okay, where are we gonna start? Let's start with last week. So I have the low, I think it's how it's pronounced. Okay, so I got pretty far on this. This is interesting. Okay. So here's what happened. I finished the body. I got to the steek parts, steek bridges, I guess we call them bridges. So it's a little complicated. There's a lot of balls of yarn attached to this thing. So I finished the body. I did 3 steeks. I did one with our neckline. You can, I mean, it's done. I cut it open, but you can, yeah, it's not lying flat because this part's not blocked yet. But I did a neck steek here, and then I did 2 armhole steeks. So you can see it's cut open. I can't put it on because this guy's on a 16-inch circular. But yeah, it's just, it has a, like, you can see where it looks like a seam. It looks like it's been set in, but I just picked up the stitches around the sleeve. So here's the thing. The way I did this, yeah, the way I did this, sorry, it's early and distracted, was that I made steeks instead of separating the front and the back. I tried to do like the same number of rounds-ish though that she recommended. I did some short row shaping on the back and the fronts to make the shoulders like slope a little bit, which, yeah, you can see that it happened. I did manage to do it. The 3 needle bind off. Opened my steek, well, I picked up the stitches around my neckline, knit that, and then cut the steek and then finished knitting the neckline. Did the same thing with the 2 sleeves. So that was good. And then, yeah, so I tend to pick up all the stitches around a sleeve, which I really didn't need to do. So, you know, in the pattern, it was like you should have like 87 to 90 stitches around the sleeve in the size that I was knitting, and I have like 125. And I was like, well, fine. I'll just decrease faster. So I'm doing that. But I was afraid I was gonna run out of yarn. I had 1 ball left for each sleeve, but I had cut into the first one to do like some of the top of the shoulders and then a little bit of the neckline. So I was like, do I have another ball of this in my stash? Because It would be fine if it was a different dye lot. It's really easy to helical knit in the round on sleeves. Not a problem for me. This is what I found in my basement. Looks identical, but it's Rama filigree. But, I mean, I can tell, I'm sure you can too, that there's a vague difference between this one and these two, just in terms of like these two are a little warmer, this is a little bit lighter. But this is what I found. I do think Rama filigree is very comparable in gauge and like hand feel and all that stuff to Shetland Supreme jumper weight. Not Shetland 2-ply, but Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight, but the Supreme is basically a sport weight. And this guy is also basically a sport weight. So I think I still have a lot of this left. I gotta weigh it and check in and stuff, but I'm gonna get to like, I don't know, especially if, sorry, I'm not finishing my sentences. If I'm like halfway down the sleeve and I have 25 grams of this left, I'm not gonna be worried. If I get to 25 grams of this and I'm like way far away from halfway done with the sleeve, then I'm gonna start helical knitting with this guy. And I'm gonna do it on the other sleeve too. I'll probably get a little farther. Actually, I might knit, you know what I might do is weigh them now. Might weigh them now and separate, like even them out. So like if there's 35 grams of this and there's 50 grams of this, I'll take 7-ish grams away from this ball and like reserve it to knit this sleeve with, so that there's the same amount of this, so that like when I start helical knitting, it won't be like really obvious, like they'll match at least. I'm probably overthinking this because I really don't think anyone's gonna notice. Like it would be like two different dye lots of the same thing. This is what it really looks like. So the thing is that the gauge is really tight and there's a lot of stitches. So I am decreasing quickly. I'm decreasing every 4 rounds. I'm decreasing 2 stitches. So that's pretty fast rate of decrease. But, you know, I don't want to play yarn chicken. So I think it's gonna be fine. But I have been like more stressed about it. And I did this all on like Thursday night and then I put it away. No, I did it on Wednesday night. No, when did I do this? I don't know. On Thursday, I must have done it on Tuesday night. Sorry, I'm just like thinking about a week. I must have done this on Tuesday night because on Wednesday I cast something on, which I'm about to show you. So yeah, it's, but I put this on like when I had it on, I don't know, when the steaks were cut. And it did fall like a, you know, it's oversized, but it fell normally on my body. So I was like, okay, good. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it or give it to my grandma or my mom or something, but yeah, we'll see. It did block nicely. I blocked the body before I picked up around the sleeves and stuff, and it was nice. It's really wrinkly right now because it's been shoved into a bag, but the Fair Isle band looks nice. Yeah, it smells good. Yeah, so I feel like I have very little left to do on this because it's really just sleeves in the round, but it feels like it's so much knitting, and because I'm dealing with a slight headache of probably gonna run out of yarn in the Shetland Supreme, I don't know, it's causing me some stress, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that or think about it right now. So yeah, that's fun. I don't think I finished describing my shirt, so I'm gonna do that. Right, I was using mulberry silk. I was talking about yarn springiness. It's not springy, and it's really, really thin. And my mom got it for me for Christmas, like my first year of graduate school. It was like such a long time ago. And last summer, I'd started knitting something. I'd started knitting like the circular yoke summer shirt from Pearl Soho, which was really pretty. Seriously, this is like a lace weight. There's like 600 yards in on a 100 gram skein. So my mom had gotten it for me 2 skeins because that's all you needed for this beautiful summer shirt that I saw that I really wanted to make. And I casted it on, so many stitches, and it was so hard to figure out if it was twisted. The first time it was twisted, it was horrible. I really like didn't do that much knitting on it. I don't know, like I don't know if it just didn't excite me or like it was too thin. And at the time I really hadn't knit a lot of sweaters, and I don't know, I didn't really know what I was doing, whatever, doesn't matter. But last summer, I like found like a half-started shirt that was like this much done, and I was like, well, that's not, I don't want to finish that. It's not really something I feel interested in doing right now. So I ripped it out, and I was like, what if I held a double? So I knitted a gauge swatch holding it double, and I was like, well, it's about 22 stitches over 4 inches. Let's just make a little top-down t-shirt, hold it double, because there's so much yardage. And yeah, I had just almost exactly enough for this. Like I knitted really to the end of the skein. I only did 3 or 4 rounds of ribbing at the bottom so that it would just be as long as possible. And I did the little sleeve caps before I finished the body so that I would have enough to do that. And then I was stupid and didn't think about how silk gets discolored in the sun, and I blocked it, and I I washed it and put it in the tub, and then I put it outside to dry in the hot sun. And the inside, I don't know if you can tell, but this is like a lighter blue, and this got like, it's like a sea green now. I don't mind it, like, because it's the same, and I just flipped it over and I let it get blasted on the other side too. So it's like, you can sort of see it if the collar rolls up a little, but it doesn't fuss me. It's just like, as long as it's the same color, I'm okay that it's kind of greenish and not blue. And I really like it. I think it's cute and it's fun. It's like full length shirt. A lot of my t-shirts end up being kind of cropped because I run out of yarn, and I don't love that. So yeah, this one's it's a whole shirt. So that was exciting. Anyway, what's next? Okay. If you have questions about how I did the steeks, send me an email and I will talk you through it. But I had already cut them open, and just felt like there was a lot that was too much to kind of describe in great detail. And, sometimes it's hard when the camera's not facing the thing, and I don't do tutorials. And so I figured it would just be boring if I was like describing numbers to you. Essentially what you need to do is, when it says to split, I would put like 6 stitches on hold, like before the side markers, like 3 stitches on hold for each side marker, and then the other side marker, like 3 stitches on hold on each side of the side marker, so that there's like a total of 6 stitches on hold on each side. And then I keep knitting, put them on waist yarn before I get there. Then I cast 7 stitches for a steek bridge over them. Then I keep knitting, do the same thing on the other side. Next steek, I didn't actually separate any stitches. You could put a stitch or 2 on hold there, but I didn't. I just got to the halfway point and I was like, this is where I'm doing it. And again, I just cast it on 7 stitches with the backwards loop cast on. I always purl the first and last stitches of my steek so I can tell where to pick up the steek, pick up around the bridge. I feel like I use the word steek incorrectly. Like, I mean, everyone throws the word steek around, like using it normally, but like, I think it's a noun, right? Like, no, it's a verb. It's not a noun. This is not a steek. This is a steek bridge. You are going to steek. Steek is the verb, right? I don't know, if you've watched my channel, I get bogged down in grammar sometimes. But anyway, I'm gonna steek it, is what you'd say. And so you're creating a steek bridge, right? That's like correct? I don't know. Anyway, so I made my bridge. Maybe I'll start calling it the bridge, because that is what it is. And yeah, you purl the first and last stitch of the bridge and knit the middle 5. Well, I do that just because then I can see where the steek is gonna go, the cut, see where I'm gonna pick up the stitches. If you're knitting in a single color, you can also just purl the whole steek except the middle stitch, and then you know exactly where to cut, which is helpful. Like Corrine does that in her Victory cardigan, the Woolly Thistles Victory cardigan. So also smart. You could do that because this is a single color. You could totally do that. So when I finish everything, the short row neck or shoulder shaping, I kind of had to figure out on my own. I mean, I just kind of did 4 short rows leading up to the shoulder so that was getting taller, and then it was getting shorter like down here because that's the natural slope of the shoulder. I did the same thing on the back as I did on the 2 fronts. And yeah, that's just kind of what happened. Again, I'm not going to just tell you a bunch of numbers. That would be really boring, but it worked. I basically did that with short rows so that it, you know, I did a short row turn here, 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 and here or something, and then it just kind of sloped, which was helpful. Yeah. What else? I don't know. I'm excited to wear it. We'll see how it goes. I gotta convince myself to finish it in the next couple of weeks. That would be nice. If you watched my episode last weekend, I did not finish the green cowl because look at all the things I got distracted by. I did work on it. I did another band. I think it has 7 bands now, something like that. We'll see. I gotta do it this week. It's like on the list. I might not. I say I got it, but I probably won't because there's another color work project that you will see now. Because I'm gonna put this guy away. But this is vanilla, so it's like, it's nice to have vanilla project on the needles. The problem is that then it's too big to like take around. Like, I don't want to bring it to trivia night and it's like 70 degrees outside or warmer because it's September in Maryland and I just have like a giant sweater sitting on my lap. Like, it's not really the mood. So, okay. I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I'm gonna say that about the last sweater too. This one, I possessed me to do this. I already had this on a plan, like I said to people on the channel, I'm gonna make this second reindeer sweater. So I casted this on. There's the little first sleeve. I did this on Wednesday morning. I cast on the first sleeve. It's quite long. Ian's tall, so I made it 22 inches. It's probably gonna be too long because the yoke is so deep, but I was like, let's just not go too overboard. I literally knit 2 sleeves on Wednesday. I mean, this yarn is thick, so I knit quickly with a big rustic yarn like this, like an Aran weight. So, I mean, yeah, but it didn't take that long. I mean, I think I did each one in a couple of hours. And I used my Xiaogu mini twist set. I knit this on a US 7. The gauge called for 18 stitches over 4 inches, but I did 16 because this is a thick Aran weight yarn, and when I did my throw over, well, I steeked it into a throwback, but the throwback / throw over by Andrea Mowry, what am I saying? When I did that, that called for 16 stitches over 4 inches. And so I was like, oh, I'll use Briggs & Little Heritage and see if it's any better. Cause I like knitting, I like a sweater from Briggs & Little Heritage that's knit at 18 stitches over 4 inches, but it's really bulletproof. Like, that is a thick fabric. It doesn't move very much. It doesn't have a lot of drape. It just kind of is like tight, and it hurts your hands to knit a gauge that tight with a yarn that stiff and that like big. So, you know, it's like a Gansey kind of thing, but like the Gansey wool is springier, so less hard to knit with, but it's the same kind of thing, like not a super thin yarn, but you're knitting it at a very tight gauge on smallish needles. I think Briggs & Little Heritage and its, you know, similar yarns like that need to be knitted at a looser gauge, like 16 stitches over 4 inches. So this is not Briggs & Little Heritage. This is like it feels exactly like it, but it's labeled as wool. 100% wool, Aran weight, about 210 yards and 4 ounces, which is 113 grams. So similar to Briggs & Little, but it's not made at that mill. This is from Oxford, Pennsylvania. I got it at Maryland Sheep and Wool. It was $4 for a big skein. I couldn't tell you anything else about it. The label is literally like a piece of paper that someone wrote a colorway number on, and like it says it's from Oxford, Pennsylvania, which is cool. And it says it's wool. It doesn't say anything else about it. But that doesn't deter me. I touched it and I was like, this is basically Briggs & Little Heritage, and it's $4, so I better get a bunch. So I got 5 of these. I should have got 5 in every color, but I was like, I don't know. I have plenty of yarn. I don't need more of everything, because by the time I want to knit another one, it'll be time for Maryland Sheep and Wool again, and I'll just get some more. Yeah, so I loved the green. I saw it and immediately was like, I need to knit Ian an ugly Christmas sweater in that. So here it is. Or an ugly Christmas. I didn't know it was gonna be for Ian. So did this on Friday. body. It's almost done. I mean, if it were for me, it would be done. Like this body would be enough for a sweater for me, but Ian's taller. Ian's like 6'1" or something now. So I don't, yeah, he's too big. This needs to be longer. The other colors I'm using in this, I just pulled them out of my big bucket iron scraps. This I think is Peace Fleece. There's not going to be enough to do the yoke with this, but I have tons of like off-white colors, so I'm just going to choose something similar. Nothing is going to go against each other because I'm just going to stop using this now, because I use this for the cuffs and the hem, but as long as it's not like I use this for the first half of the yoke and then I use something else for the second half, that won't be noticeable. So I figured, just use that, put it back, whatever. The charcoal is the same charcoal I used in my Rodari that I made in February-ish. There's a video about it, I'll link it, video about my Rodari. That it brings a little regal, so it's more like a worsted weight rather than an Aaron's 274 yards and 4 ounces. It's a charcoal color. I had a small amount left of one skein, and then I had 2 full other skeins, so I wasn't worried. I think I had 6 or 7 in total skeins of regal in that color. And yeah, so I just started it with that and ran out after the second sleeve here, and then I started on one of the bigger skeins used for the hem here, and I've got plenty left for the yoke. So I'm gonna do the whole body in green, and then as you can see here, like the like lead up to the yoke patterning, like the background of the yoke, and this one will be white, whereas on mine it's dark. It's the Shetland black color on the red one I just made, but this will have the white background for the yoke, and then the reindeer will be in the charcoal. Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, so that's that. Probably I'll deal with this today. I'll finish the body and join it, and then get to the sleeves and get to the yoke, and just kind of tear through that the next few days. So next weekend, hopefully it will be done, and then we'll show it to you finished. I will have no way of knowing if it'll fit him, but it'll be a little bit big. He's tall, my brother. He's a tall guy, so it will fit one way, and it'll just be like a big outerwear sweater if it's kind of big. Oh, and the way I mentioned that I adjusted the gauge and then said nothing else about this. He wears a men's large. He's kind of slim, but he wears a men's large. So I'm making a medium in a slightly bigger gauge, and I'm like, it'll be fine. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time I do that. Lots of people will do that. That's kind of like a hack. Like if you're a little too tight or a little too loose, or you're changing the gauge slightly, going up a size or down a size. I mean, do the math and see, like if I go up a size and I'm getting this gauge, which is this many inches, how many body stitches are in that? Divide your number of body stitches by number of stitches per inch you're getting, which means you're gonna have to divide your 4-inch gauge by 4. So let's say you're going down from 18 stitches to 14, or 18 stitches to 16 stitches, which is what I'm doing. So 18 stitches is 4.5 times 4. So that's 4.5 stitches per inch. 16 stitches over 4 inches is 4 times 4. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So if you have 160 stitches in your body for an 18 stitch gauge, that's 160 divided by 4.5. To find out how big it would be if you're getting 16 stitches over 4 inches and you wanted it the same size, you divide 160 by 4. So that means you're going from a 36-inch bust to a 40-inch bust. So if that's fine, that's fine. If that's too big, try going down a size, divide that number of body stitches by 4, see what the measurement is. I mean, your vertical gauge is important too, but it's generally less important than the horizontal gauge because a lot of things in knitting go by vertical measurements and not actual numbers, whereas the horizontal gauge goes by numbers. So yeah, the more you knit, the more you just kind of get used to this kind of thing. That's what I would say. hard to, kind of puzzle out sometimes, but it is what it is. Okay, you get used to the math. This is what I'm trying to say there. So, deconstructed sweater there, should be done hopefully in the next few days if I can kind of manage that. So, what else? Yeah, I cast a little Pharaoh cuffs last weekend, actually. I have almost finished one of them, but figured I'd show you those in another episode when they're done. I'm dipping my toe back into that pond after the Hilda, experience, but then I kind of pulled back a little. So, yeah, okay. So, if you've been watching for a while, there was a video in January, maybe early February, called My Sweater Stash Down, which was where I went through my stash and I pulled 5 or 6 sweater quantities that I was like, I want to knit this within the year-ish. I will probably not knit my way through all those things this year because it's already September and I have only knit with 2 of those sweater quantities. So I think maybe 3, I don't know. I knit with the purple Madeline Tosh. That was pretty. I didn't knit with that Skein Queen Flockly, which is silk and cashmere and wool. That was pretty. So I haven't done that yet. Haven't knit with the De Rerum Natural Release yet. I can't remember. Oh, I did cast on that Monostil Uruguay lace plus lace weight mohair, black ice, but I don't know. It was this. I could handle a brioche stitch pattern, half brioche stitch pattern. I just didn't really enjoy it, and it's really gets kind of lost in the mohair silk plus lace weight merino held double, and I was just no, this is too, I don't know, it's too fiddly. So I have some ideas for what to do with that instead. My friend Monica's making this pullover from Contrasts by Lina that's it's by, I have a copy of it. Thinking about sending it to my mom for her birthday because I know she wants it, but I haven't decided if I want to keep it and send her a new copy or not. Sorry if you're watching this, Mom. I don't think she keeps up. She does watch it sometimes, but she's busy and I just tell her and send her all the pictures anyway, and she's like, yeah, we talk on the phone. She gets the rundown there. Right, so what was I talking about? Oh, contrasts. There's a pullover in Contrasts that is a really pretty lace yoke that's with I think it's just a regular merino and fingering weight merino and mohair, but Monica was using Holst garn, super soft, which is really, really thin. It's like a lace weight almost. And I was like, oh. By the way, I think the pattern starts with a W. I will link the pattern in the show notes. The one that I can't remember. I could have just grabbed that book, but I didn't know if I was going to talk about this or not. So that's the problem when you ad lib a lot. You don't have the materials you need. So I'm thinking of doing that. The lace is really pretty. Mine, of course, is a dark teal. The lace will be harder to see. Hers is white, which is very easy to see. But regardless, there was one sweater quantity in there I know I talked about, and it was this Le Petit Lamb's Wool by Bichet Bouche in very light blue, and I had 5 of these, and then I had 1 of these. This is a very light blue, and this is turquoise, gray, blue, something like that. I can link the colors in the show notes. I got these at Espace Tricot coming up on 3 years ago because it was right before the pandemic. I was in Montreal visiting a college friend, and who goes to McGill, and now she did her undergrad with me in Toronto, and then she went and did a PhD at McGill, and she's still there. And anyway, I went to Espace Tricot, and I got a bunch of sweater quantities. I got that De Rerum Natural Release there as well. I've gotten a bunch of things there generally. I got yarn there. Hedgehog fiber singles that were on sale and Bichet Bouche mohair, and I made a really pretty sweater held double. I gave it to my friend Lauren for her wedding. I'd made it a long time ago. I only ever wore it a few times. I loved that sweater, but I just never it didn't get anywhere from me. I just forgot it existed, and I was like, I can live without this sweater, and it's the perfect sweater for Lauren. So I was like, I can make another one. anytime I want, in theory. So anyhow, I had these, and I think I said I wanted to make this sweater, and I did cast this same sweater on. Sometimes I change my mind and I'm like, oh, I should knit something else. But nope, I actually cast on the Mattie cardigan by Kristen Drysdale. It's hard to tell from the top that this is a little flower. It looks like it could be any design, but it's a little flower motif, and I've started the second flower motif up here. So yeah, it's a cardigan, and I have a regret that I will detail. She has you knit, so it is steeked, so there's the steek bridge there. She actually has you cast on like 9 extra stitches on either end for button bands, and you knit those, so you're still knitting the back and forth of the collar, and then you put 9 stitches on hold on either end for buttonholes that you're not going to work, and you cast on a steek bridge. And you just kind of leave those stitches on hold hanging there while you finish the sweater. And when you're done, you pick up those 9 stitches, put them on needles, and just work a ribbed band on either side, just straight down. And you just go until, like, when you tug it a little bit and it's like the right tension you want for your button band, you just stop, cast off, and stitch it to the sweater side, and then you can cut open the steek. So that's actually a really smart idea, because you could do that all before you even cut the steek, and you wouldn't be like irritating those stitches, and then you can just cut it, and I would needle felt the steek regardless, and then just kind of stitch it down like it shouldn't be an issue. But like, I don't know, I was doing a long tail cast on, and I actually only had this much tail left. And I think maybe if I'd had a longer tail, I would have been like, yeah, let's cast on 18 more stitches, but I didn't. And like, this is the thing that stopped me. This is really springy, by the way. I love this, Le Petit Lamb's wool. And it's very thin. It's thinner than like Shetland jumper weight even. It's 270 yards and 50 grams. So anyway, I just am doing my normal thing. But it did occur to me that that's a smart idea, because I think that's the traditional, like, you know, Scandinavian way of doing that. Nordic, I guess she's more generally Scandinavian, Nordic, maybe Norwegian, I don't know. I think that's the traditional way of creating a button band in that style of knitting. However, I hadn't done that, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do it my way. And then I'm like, oh, that would be easy. Like, I should try that, because it's a nice way to do a button band. It's like simple, and yeah. You can always get it the right length. Sometimes I pick up too many stitches, like especially up at the collar and down at the hem, and it gets a little bulky there and puckers a little. Or you don't pick up enough stitches and then it's pulling in and it looks bad. Anyway, I don't usually have a problem with that, but sometimes I do, and I was like, I should try that, but next time, because I'm not going to pull out what I have. There also I don't think there were short rows at the top of the neck. I don't even think I read the pattern far enough to see if there were short rows after the yoke. They were easy I just added some, because this is a cardigan, so it probably doesn't matter as much, but I was like, I'll just put short rows there. I just tend to do that. So you can see there's quite a bit of material between the back of between the hem with the collar here and the start of the color work. This is where my short rows were at the widest point. You can see it gets smaller and smaller and smaller around there. So there were no short rows, because this is the very front. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is really nice. It's very lightweight. It was easy to get gauge. She recommended a US 4, I think. And I'm using a 3, and I'm getting I got a gauge. I mean, I made a swatch just on a US 3 just because I figured I was probably gonna get 24 stitches over 4 inches with a US 3 with yarn this thin, and I did. So no problem. I haven't really checked my color work gauge. I tend not to have a ton of differences in gauge between color work and regular one color stockinette, but I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, they don't, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Sometimes it is tighter, like on the lower low. I'm not gonna get that back out, but it's a little tighter there, but like, you just you're not gonna tell when you're wearing the sweater that it's like cinched a tiny bit at the waist. And I never notice on a yoke. I mean, you don't notice where you're wearing it. If you look closely at the tension, sometimes you can tell it's tighter, but sometimes I just go down a half size or a whole needle size, or, you know, if I'm noticing a lot of difference after I finish a color work section. So one time, 3-4 years ago, I was knitting this sweater, just top down, regular, not top down circular yoke color work. I knit a ton of those. And for some reason, like I don't know why, my brain just like reversed itself and was like, I knit the color work on whatever size needle I knitted on, because like I knew I was trying to knit it on like a 4. Like I thought that I would get the correct gauge with a US 4, which I did for the body. And then for some reason in my brain, when I started the yoke, it was like, go down a needle size instead of up. And so I knitted the yoke on a size 3, and I knitted the rest of the sweater on a size 4. And it was fine. But it was just like, Emma, like, how dumb are you? How many sweaters have you effing knit? Like, come on. So it was just like a brain fart moment that I didn't even occur to me was a problem until like halfway through the sweater. Like I'd way past the yoke, and I was like, oh, how dumb are you? But that was just me, you know. You've knit so many of these. What possessed your brain to think? That was just a me being dumb moment. So yeah, I just want to do some color work yesterday, and so I casted this on. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad idea because it might just not get done. But I thought, whatever, I'll work a little bit on it at a time and get this color work stuff done, as you know, as if I don't have enough color work projects on my needles, because I'm about to have a color work section on the sweater, which again, the big sweater, I tend to do that quickly. Like it tends to be just kind of done in a day or two. It's just like power through it, and I'm like, this is a big sweater on my lap. I want it to be done. I'm so close to the end, I can see the finish line. You know, it's one of those things where I'm like, when I'm this close to the end, I tend to just finish it. So that should get done, and then that color work will be over. But I still have the color work cowl that I'm like, by casting on the sweater, I have now neglected the cowl. Like I'm making a decision to continue to neglect this cowl. So I don't like to give myself schedules for knitting. I don't like to say like, you're gonna knit this at this time and this at this time, because I have enough structure in my work life, and you know, knitting is the thing that like, I like to have a lot of projects on needles because I like to be able to pick between them. So yeah, I don't like to box myself in like that. I try not to, basically. But yeah, kind of, sometimes I just need to say, Emma, what are you doing? Put that away until this thing is done. And sometimes that works. Sometimes. So anyway, yeah. Oh, that's empty. This is not empty. My kale drink. No, it's a kale smoothie. I have a smoothie with kale in it every morning. People think that's gross, but I really like kale. I don't even mind the taste of raw kale as long as it's like mixed with something else. So I have raw kale that's frozen, and like frozen like fruit. I don't like bananas in my smoothies. I don't dislike bananas themselves. I don't buy them, but I don't dislike them. I just think that if you put them in a smoothie, then the whole smoothie tastes like banana. Like it just like takes over the whole taste palette, taste profile, whatever. So I tend not to put bananas. In my smoothies. So I have like frozen fruit that sometimes I use berries, but mostly it's like mango, pineapple, strawberry, peach blend from Costco that I really like with the kale. It goes nicely. I have been working on the proportions of kale to fruit and have actually gone up in the kale in the last couple of weeks with great results. I really like the kind of, it makes it less sweet. And then I use orange juice because you need liquid, and orange juice makes it not watery and has vitamin C in it. And then I put some plain whole milk yogurt in, which also just helps it blend, and it's like a little bit of protein. So whole milk yogurt I use because Full fat yogurt has more probiotics, so it's better for you. Low fat yogurt is not. I don't know. Maybe people disagree on this, but one of my friends does research on gut bacteria, and my mom is like really into this whole thing, and it's like if you need to get whole milk yogurt to get the probiotic benefits of yogurt, so which are like really good, the probiotic benefits, like it's really good for your stomach biome or whatever. So I tend to go for that. Although last weekend we were at Lidl, because I'd never even been to Lidl before, but it was a Lidl. We were trying to go to Costco, me and my roommates, and it was too late on a Sunday, and so we like couldn't, and we needed some groceries, so we went to Lidl instead, and we just went to Costco on Monday. And Lidl had, like, they clearly had whole milk yogurt that was plain. They just didn't have any in stock. They only had one that had honey in it, so I got that, and I have to put more kale in the yogurt, in the smoothie now, because the honey yogurt is too sweet, but it's almost done. It doesn't have a bad taste. It's just like, I don't like to eat sweet breakfasts. Like, I'm a savory breakfast person, and I don't mind fruit, but I like orange juice and kale to kind of offset the sweet taste of fruit. It's just me. I don't drink sugar in any tea or coffee. I don't like sugar in the morning. If I go out to brunch, I eat like eggs and bacon. I don't eat like cinnamon buns or French toast or pancakes. I will sometimes, like if my parents make that at home or something, I would, but most of the time, I like a pastry is okay. Sometimes I like a chocolate croissant. Sorry, now I'm just rambling about random crap. Anyway, yeah, but yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can make some progress on that sweater today. I have some stuff to do outside the house, which is always good on a weekend, but the Ravens are playing, so we live really close to the Ravens Stadium in Fed Hill, and so we try not to drive anywhere on Sundays when the Ravens are playing at home. I might have to today. I might just suck it up and then park really far away, and then have to walk a really long way to my car in the morning tomorrow before work. As long as I know it's coming, I tend not to fuss too much about it, but yeah, that's annoying. Okay. So yeah, I really just love this color. Like, I can't get over how much it's so nuanced. There's like, it's really well heathered. Like, there's a lot of like darker blue blips, but what you see when you're knitting it, but they blend really well together. And I think the two colors look nice together. I think it's obviously a high contrast, but I really like I like the combo. So yeah, I want to work on this, but I'm not unwanting. I'm not wanting to work on the big green sweater, and I'm like, that's closer to being done. I should just finish it, get it off the needles, and then be able to focus on fewer things. Of course, when I have fewer things to focus on, I end up casting on more stuff. So anyway, all right. I think this is enough. So thank you for watching. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye!